Hello, this is Dr. Rebecca Wood, and I would like to welcome you to our Week 8 lecture. This week we will focus on poetry and the march forward. And as we begin Week 8, we're also wrapping up the term. So thank you for all your hard work and dedication to the class. I know it's not easy at all to get everything done in 8 weeks or get as close to it as we can, but here we are nearly finished. I've truly enjoyed working with everyone and reading your discussion board posts and papers, and I hope you all have enjoyed the term as much as I have. This is a checklist of last-minute items, just as some reminders. So please make sure to check your SLU email daily for messages from Dr. Wood or the School for Professional Studies. The final exam is due by 11:59 p.m. Saturday, December 15th, which is the last day of the class. So unfortunately, there will not be time for extensions of the deadline for the final exam. All eligible revisions are due by noon Saturday, December 15th. If you have any questions about whether a paper is eligible for revision, and if it is, you should have received an email from me about the revision possibility, or about revising your paper, please email me at rebecca.wood@slu.edu. There is no quiz for Week 8 because there's a final exam instead, and please do not forget that the final exam is an open book exam. This week's poetry. This week we complete our studies with poetry by James Weldon Johnson, Priscilla Jane Thompson, Paul Laurence Dunbar, and Claude McKay. And one of the very best things about poetry, and one of the reasons I love it so much, is that it can create images in our minds, sometimes with very few words. Poetry is like a mirror or a snapshot of a moment in history. We can really get a feeling for what was going on by reading poetry and getting those images and feeling the times as opposed to just reading about them. Our first poet this week was James Weldon Johnson, and his great poem or song, Lift Every Voice and Sing, is full of inspirational lines like these. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. And this literary work has lifted spirits for generations. And also, please note that I have documented this as a long quote, and in a long quote, the citation goes after the period. So those are done a little bit differently, and that's why this quote looks the way it does. And also we studied Priscilla Jane Thompson, who made important points about the standards of beauty in love poetry that left out, quote, the oft-slighted Afric maids, unquote. And of course this citation here has the page number because we already have the author's name inside the sentence. And she continued in the Muse, her poem dedicated to the Ethiop maid who possessed sweet, refined, retiring grace, and sunshine lingering in thy face, with eyes bedewed with tears. And this poem explores and provides an answer for the yearning for recognition and respect that we all have. And also we studied Paul Laurence Dunbar, who wrote the poem We Wear the Mask. And that poem highlights the necessity for oppressed people to hide their true feelings in order to survive. He wrote, We smile, but O great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. Maya Angelou built upon this powerful poem for her own poem, The Mask, a reading of which can be seen in our lecture and resources folder this week. And recently, I was in Lexington, Kentucky, and this building, which I have driven past several times before, it just caught my eye this time, and I noticed the sign, and it was so exciting to see a school named after one of our poets. This is Paul Laurence Dunbar High School. Very exciting. And then we also studied Claude McKay, and he wrote If We Must Die, a poem calling for people to have courage, to be brave in the face of danger and adversity. And in the poem he said, quote, If we must die, oh let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. and his work contributed to the fabulous era of creativity known as the Harlem Renaissance. And this is our works cited list for this week, and you'll note that I put all of our literature on here and our authors, and I did cite their poetry from their names rather than the name of the editor of the book. So anytime you have a shorter work inside an anthology or a book of poetry or stories, then you should document any quotes from the actual author of the original piece. And so what can we add? We've spent this entire term studying the lives of people who have done great things and people who have endured unimaginable hardships. And sometimes those were the same people. And as we go forward, think about how you and I could make the world a better place for everyone. And I wish you all the best as you find your path. Take care, and I hope you experience health, happiness, and success. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.